Hey, and welcome back to day 3 of Vlogmas. Today we are setting up the kitchen, which is where we are in now, for filming some cooking. We have a holiday party this weekend and we want to film the cooking for the holiday party. So we are going to try to set up some cameras. I have this camera now on a tripod, which I will probably set up in like the chopping area. But what we're going to do next is try to set up a camera over the stove. I don't really want to use this camera because it's like an actual camera, but we have Samsung Galaxy S10 phones, which are more resistant to things like steam and splashes and stuff like that, because we can just, you know, wipe them off or rinse them off if we need to, because they are water resistant. I can still shoot pretty high quality, especially if we can get some lighting set up. So that's what we're going to focus on now. We're just going to we're cooking lunch, so we're going to try to see if we can get some shots, and we'll take you there now. So now we are over at the stove, and this is where I would like to set up one of our cell phones that can kind of shoot down at the stove, kind of like a tasty video type thing. So I think that in one of these cabinet doors above the stove, I should be able to hook up a Joby GorillaPod and get some sort of angle down to the stove. And again, we're using our phone, so if it steams, it's not a big deal. What I'll do is I'll actually video call one phone to the other phone so that I can see what the phone is seeing. And then we can figure out if we're getting a good shot. This is just a test run today, but this is how we hope to set it up. So here we go. I also have this, which is just like one of those, one of those contraptions that you put your phone in, you tighten the dial down on the top, and then it clamps the phone in. So no fancy mount for the phone. Okay, so Sam is behind the camera and is going to have her phone hooked up, and I am... No, I want it to be the front-facing camera, not the selfie camera. I don't know how to turn it around. There we go. Okay. So now Sam has a video, and you can see it on here, a video of what the camera on the back of the phone is recording, and should be able to see if we're hooked up correctly. Ideally, we could get something going in here, so let's see if there's any way to make that happen. Because that's the most directly over the top, but the question is whether or not I can get it hooked up correctly. Make sure everything's tight so it doesn't come crashing down. Seems pretty stable. Here, let me move it so you can see what I've done. So I have the GorillaPod on one of the shelves inside, the bottom of the cabinet, and then around the outside. And you can see I just have the phone here, try to be as flat as possible. And I should be able to adjust because this has the swivel head on this Joby. So this should shoot straight down, and we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, that actually looks pretty stable. If we have to get spices out of the cabinet, we're probably going to take the whole thing down and put it back up there. Or we're going to prepare ahead of time and make sure we have all the spices we need. That won't happen. All right, let's go to the video from up top, and I will take you there now, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now you can see here, this is the kind of chop prep station. The camera is still recording over the stove, but I can already see that it has fallen quite a bit. So I think I'm going to have to come up with some sort of sturdier solution. I have like a microphone stand that has an extending arm, so maybe I could use the microphone stand with the extending arm and then put the Joby on top of that. Just something to get some elevation over the stove, but we'll see. So this is going to be the chop prep area, so then we have the 2 cameras going, and if we need maybe some sort of time lapse, we can get the get the second cell phone for a 3rd camera, kind of a full kitchen shot. So yeah, this should be it. Alright, so we have almost finished lunch. We are still got to figure out the camera over the stove. We'll probably mess with it a little bit tonight when we are ready to make dinner, so I'll show you a little bit of that. Hey, it's Editing Josh. So I know that I just said that I would take a look at the stove cam and then I would figure out what adjustments needed to be made. So I looked at the stove cam, and as you can see in the stove cam down here, it is definitely drifting off to the side. I hyperlapsed it, but it's still pretty noticeable even when it's at normal speed. So I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I don't know exactly what yet. I may be able to even tie a string from the ceiling down to the bracket to hold it up and keep it stable, because it was stable inside the cabinet. It was just drifting on itself. So if I could keep that up, that might help. Also, I have another bracket that came with my gimbal, so I may try that. But I have not had a chance to do either one of those things yet, and I wanted to get this video out. So when I figure out the solution, I will update you on what the solution is. But for right now, I will send you to the originally recorded outro now. But all in all, I think we have at least a pretty good idea of the camera setups that we can do. I got the prep area lit with one of those kind of clamp-on table lamps that I'm shooting light up to the ceiling and then bouncing it back down, just because where the main light source is in the middle of the kitchen, and where that counter is, your back is to the light source, so it creates a pretty bad shadow. So I was able to get a table lamp to kind of light up that area. The lights are kind of different colors, this one that is above me now, as well as the kind of lighting over at the stove. So I may have to mess with the exposure and the white balance a little more when I'm editing the video than just a normal video shot on one camera. But also I'm not sure really what the exposure looks like on the cell phone camera as compared to this camera, so we'll have to figure those things out. But hopefully with some exposure changes and some color grading, we can get everything to look pretty similar and have one kind of cohesive video. This video will be kind of the test run for that. Will give us some time to make some tweaks before the holiday party this weekend. So thanks for everyone for watching. This is day 3 of Vlogmas, and we will see you tomorrow.